What's up, everybody? This is Jose with Oakland Latinos United, aka Oakland Latinos Unidos, on here with a new video for you to enjoy. Well, lately I've been hearing about some community called incels community. I guess they're a community of, I believe, virgins who have hit probably their 20s or 30s and they can't get laid. And they've kind of grown like this resentment towards women. And apparently, a lot of school shootings that have been happening lately have been because of this incel movement. I don't want to say it's that necessarily, but that's according to some people, that's what is part of the reason why they're happening. One thing that I noticed is these school shootings are very prevalent. You know, they've been going on a lot since the time of Columbine back in 98, 99. There's been almost a school shooting every other year after that. And these school shootings have been more and more frequent lately, it seems like. There was a school shooting in Texas recently where there was about 20 people killed, I believe. And again, it was by a kid who said that girls rejected him, that girls didn't like him, and he had this resentment, so he went and killed people. This guy right here is the prime example of an incel or a virgin who was frustrated and killed a bunch of people. His name was Elliot Rogers. Some of you might remember him from about 3-4 years ago. He lived, I believe, in Santa Barbara, and he made a group of like creepy videos where he was saying that women were going to pay and that women like brutes and that, you know, he deserves the perfect woman and blah, blah, fucking blah. And, yeah, it's just quite troubling, all this stuff. In more ways than one, I could really say. It's really troubling. Because for one, I mean, even when I was a kid, I don't remember hearing about school shootings like that. And if there was a school shooting, it was usually like maybe a gang or something like that, or someone got shot near the school. But I don't remember hearing about like mass school shootings when I was in school, high school or middle school or elementary. I remember I'm 40 years old, and yeah, it's just like even like the most hood dude that I know never committed a school shooting. Actually, you notice most of the school shooters are usually white. Most of them, they're rarely black or Latino, very rarely, you know. But there is a problem in this world, in this society. I mean, we become like I guess you could say like in a way, a sexually repressed society. And also we've become a very sexualized society at the same time. And we kind of like, how can I say, we kind of shame these kids for not getting laid. But then at the same time, we shame them for trying to get laid, if that makes sense. And there's so many movements now that are either anti-men or pro-men or pro-women or anti-women. And it's fucking ridiculous. And I blame all those sides on it. You know, there's these incel fucking idiots. There's MGTOWs, there's red pillars, there's feminists. And none of them help. None of them answer the situation. Like, basically all both sides can do is point fingers. If you look at the red pilled, maybe MGTOWs, maybe those kind of guys, they say that these incels are pussies, that they can't get laid, they're a bunch of losers, you know, lose some weight and get a job, and then just stupid shit. And then the feminists are like, they're rapists, they're not entitled to women, they're misogynists, blah, blah, blah. So pretty much both sides just points the finger. But there's no real solution, if that makes sense. It's just pointing the finger and calling names, but no real solution. That's why these shootings keep happening. But at the same time, what can we do to answer kind of the question of why these kids are doing it and how we're going to bring a solution to it? You know what I mean? Why is there going to be another shooting because a kid got rejected by a girl? And the question is, why do some of these guys feel entitled to women? Or why do some of these guys feel like they have to kill just because a woman gets rejected? Elliot Rogers, the reason I have a picture of him, because he was an interesting case, because he was a guy that had a lot of money. He came from richness. He came from a rich family. He wasn't the worst looking dude in the world. I mean, I've seen way worse looking dudes with him with hot women. He had a nice car. He had a good education. He basically was set up for the world. You know what I mean? He was set up for life, for sure. But yet at the same time, he felt that there was something missing in his life. And he went out and killed a bunch of people and killed himself. You know what I mean? And just created this whole mess, that ruined a lot of people's lives. The question is, what's what I want to say? The thing is, these kids also, they have like victim mentalities, what I talked about. They poor me. Elliot Rogers was a perfect example. If you watch his videos, it's like, poor me. Why don't the women like me? Why do they like the other guys? I deserve them. I this, I that. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to point the finger to say these kids were losers or not. I'm not saying what they did was right or not. I'm saying that there is a problem with mental health, with kids thinking that they can murder a bunch of people to somehow get revenge on the world, over sexualization of kids, just a lot of things. You know what I mean? There's not one answer to it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of these kids are just socially awkward sometimes. They don't know how to deal with human beings, and they come out as creepy sometimes. And I think basically a lot of them just have to work on their social skills and work on their interaction with women. That's what I believe. Me, I'm not the best looking guy in the world. I did not hit luck on the gene pool when it came to looks. I'm sorry, I didn't. I'm not the best looking dude in the world. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I've always gotten women. I've always gotten laid. Not to say I was a player, but I've had women, and I didn't feel like these kids feel. I didn't feel like, oh, poor me. Oh, why don't the women like me? You know what I mean? I just always, when I liked a girl, I just went and talked to her, and if she liked me and we hung out and messed around or whatever, cool. If we didn't, then I would keep it moving. You know what I mean? And just, I didn't have that. So, and even though I wasn't the best looking dude, I didn't have the most money in the world, I still managed to have girlfriends and get laid. You know what I mean? So it's how can I say? It's just weird, man. It's really fucking weird. And it's just, I don't want to point the fingers. I don't want to say, oh, these kids are losers, virgins. I don't want to say they're rapists or entitled. I just want to say, what's the solution? Instead of pointing fingers and saying they're losers or misogynists or this or that, what is the solution? That's all I pose. If you could answer that question, put it down there in the comments. Like I said, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm just saying, what's going to stop these shootings? What is the solution? What's going to make the next kid who feels like Elliot Rogers, what's going to prevent him from going from murdering 20 people, 30 people? How are you going to break him from his victim mentality? How are you going to break him from his entitlement complex? And that's all I have to say. Tell me what you think. Leave a message. And like I said, I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. I'm not saying someone's bad or not. I'm just saying, what's the solution? Jose from Oakland Latinos Unidos, over and out.